Okay, so let's talk about melatonin support. There's not a lot to talk about here because it's so connected to sleep, but it's worth having a chat about some of the things that you can do. So, melatonin support has three aspects to it. One is lifestyle and sleep habits. Two is the other players that affect melatonin. And three, nutrients that support the production of melatonin. So that's what we're looking to do. So in terms of sleep and lifestyle, you need to review the client's sleep habits. They need to have a consistent bedtime and be asleep for most of the melatonin cycle. This ranges between midnight and 3 a.m. I've heard midnight to 2, I've heard 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. I don't know that they really know. And what's also not known is if someone is consistently asleep but not in this time frame, does the pineal gland adjust so that their melatonin cycle um, will be okay because they are asleep in a consistent time frame. A pineal gland does need darkness, so in order to make melatonin, so that would mean whatever time they're going to sleep, if they're dark, for whether it's because it really is nighttime or they artificially make it dark, that may help with the melatonin production. And of course, you need to lower stress for better sleep, or otherwise you won't be going to sleep, and then the pineal gland can't do its thing. The biggest player that affects melatonin is the adrenals. They have an inverse relationship with each other. So as cortisol goes up, melatonin levels go down. Also, if cortisol doesn't drop, a person can't get to sleep, which is probably the biggest connection for why the melatonin levels go down. Stress management and adaptogens are essential. And again, the adaptogens are generally taken during the day. And obviously, whatever stress management techniques you can have them adapt would be good. Gut health also affects sleep and needs to be part of the protocol. So there's a lot of connections between sleep and our microbes, plus there's melatonin production in the gut, as we have discussed. In terms of supplements, you want 5-HTP potentially as it's or tryptophan. So tryptophan converts to 5-HTP, and 5-HTP converts to serotonin. Serotonin converts to melatonin. So you need to have good serotonin levels to have good melatonin levels. B vitamins during the day to help with stress, adrenal adaptogens. Relora, reishi are known to help with sleep, and you can go through the cortisol support and find other ones that help as well. You may want to do relaxing herbs at night, and this could be in the form of teas, but things like valerian, passionflower, hops, chamomile, they can be very helpful for lowering cortisol levels and making it easier to go to sleep and get into the deep sleep that is good for melatonin production. And then, of course, gut health to help with cortisol levels and sleep. But you can also supplement with melatonin. It's not ideal, but it might be needed for acute situations. Could be considered for shift workers or those flying across time zones that prevent sleep during the melatonin cycle. Again, this is between you and the client, and you may not need it depending on how their sleep habits are. If I was working with a shift worker before I'd have them on melatonin, I would suggest to them that when they are working the night shift and trying to sleep during the day, they find a way to make their environment completely dark. So that would mean a sleep mask, more than likely, and as little light in the room as possible. And of course, you could probably put in earplugs to block out daytime noise because it's always more noisy during the day than it is in the evening. Magnesium is very helpful for sleep. It helps relax muscles and nervous system. Omega-3 can be helpful for the entire system, including the pineal gland. Vitamin D. So there's nutrients that can be taken as well. And then there's foods. So there's milk, corn, oats, rice, barley, peppers, radishes, spinach, turkey, tomatoes, almonds, sunflower seeds, tart, cherries, or juice. This is probably number one. That's the favorite one. Other fruits, apples, bananas, kiwis, oranges, pineapples, strawberries, grapes, and grape juice. Non-pasteurized beer and wine. And again, I wouldn't suggest they do this before bedtime, but yeah, dinner is fine. Coffee and tea from a nutrient perspective, not from a caffeine perspective. So there are nutrients that are in coffee and tea that can help melatonin production. Obviously, if somebody is caffeine sensitive, this might not be an option for them because it might keep them up. And fennel seeds and ginger can be helpful. So what these are is they have the nutrients that help promote melatonin production. And that's, for example, everybody knows about turkey and serotonin, although I've also heard that's a myth, but this is where we're going. So whatever is needed from an adrenal perspective, from a serotonin perspective, so that the melatonin can be produced, these are why a lot of these foods are considered melatonin foods. And as you can see, many of them overlap with other things that we've talked about. Helping clients with sleep is difficult, as so often it's mental as much as it is physical. So first of all, you can become so tired from physical work that you just are wired when you go to bed and you can't relax, especially if you have aches and pains. And then there's the mental aspect where you can't turn off your brain. This is what keeps a lot of people from falling into a good quality sleep or even getting to sleep. So other hormone imbalances and nutrient deficiencies need to be looked at to help them with this. As more of the players come into balance, clients may see their sleep issues and therefore their melatonin levels improve.